guys, it's your best boxing friends. I'm Kelsey. This is Rachel. Rachel, I was so excited this weekend to see Darwin Price get in the ring. He was going to fight on FS1. I thought it turned out to be FS2. He's fighting Aaron Herrera. Darwin is an undefeated 140-pound contender. And man, we've known Darwin for a long time, right? For years now. And I remember when I first met Darwin Price, he's from St. Louis. He was a nationally relevant track star at Grambling. I think it's Grambling. And he moved down to Houston to follow his dream of being a professional fighter. And you meet a lot of guys that try out boxing to be professional. But Darwin was intent on doing this thing, doing this deal. And it's not something that's easily accomplished to become a relevant, and Darwin is a relevant, professional boxer. And especially like...
A-relevant, not irrelevant.
Yeah, A-relevant. He's relevant. It's hard to go from basically a guy nobody saw coming, right? Because Darwin he wasn't an Olympic champion and wasn't some, he had fought as an amateur, but he wasn't like a 10-time national champion, amateur champion. You know, guys weren't lining up at his door to sign him, right?
Right.
And he comes down here. At the time, he was working with Ronnie Shields over at Plex. And he's since moved, I think over the last couple years, to be trained by Aaron Navarro over at Main Street, which is in downtown Houston. But what an amazing story of a guy who, you know, like, he's a father. He came down here with pretty much nothing, right?
It's
pretty
a
much
testament
nothing.
to perseverance in that it was hard for him to, like, make it in boxing without having any of the things that you mentioned, an Olympic background, wildly successful amateur background.
Throw money at those guys. You know what I mean? And so he had to come down, he had to sell himself, right? Because if you want like a good trainer, it's not like they accept everybody who walks in through the door. Especially at Plex. No, you don't just get to walk into Plex and be like, I want to train here.
Yeah.
You have to go through a tryout. They have to think that you're worth their time and that you'll listen. A big thing at Plex is like, you better listen to us and do what we say.
Yeah, they don't have time to like mess around with people who like think they know best when they have all the expertise that they do. But with Darwin, like the perseverance in continuing. I remember when he was at Plex, there was a time I think where his hands were hurt. Yeah. And so obviously as a boxer, that affects your ability to be in the ring, making fights, and in turn making money. And he has, continued to be able to pay his bills by training in gyms. He was a trainer at Plex. Now he's a trainer.
He trains at Baby Bull Boxing Gym
in Houston, and keeping food on the table, bills paid, all the while learning and continuing to learn and grow in the sport of boxing.
Yeah, and he was a guy who was always, asking like, well, do you know how I can get sponsors? Or he was just a guy who I admire greatly for his dedication. And here's the key thing. Darwin never had a chip on his shoulder like some people do in life. And I always admired how positive he was. He was always kind. If you meet Darwin Price, it's one of the best guys that you can meet in boxing. And to see his progression, he's progressed greatly since we first met him a few years ago. I do have a funny Darwin Price story real fast. But when he did work at Plex, we used to go there to Plex to work out too when we could afford such a thing. And one day we were there, and just to give you a sense of, Darwin was a nationally successful track athlete, just a great athlete in general, professional athlete, professional boxer. And Darwin we're doing push-ups, remember? Go ahead and tell the stories. It's funny.
Well, we were at Plex, and one of our sessions, Danny Arnold, the owner of Plex, was like, work out with Darwin today. And so we did their like boxing for like regular people workout type thing, right? And we go through this whole thing. And so at one point we're in their boxing ring, and they have the the counter on. Yeah. So it's like 3 minutes, and what you have to do is you kind of have to bounce around the ring, and then on the breaks you're gonna go down and do push-ups. Yeah. And I look at Darwin, and I'm like, Darwin, I can't do. He's like, do 10 push-ups on the breaks, and I go, I can't do a push-up. And Darwin, like, he stops, and he just has like this look of
quizzical look, like he was
like does not compute, like in his brain. He's like, I can't even, and kind of looks at Kelsey, right? Yeah. And then he's like, okay, we'll just do 5.
Yeah, she couldn't do 1 push-up.
I was like, I can't do a push-up.
I love that story because it just illustrates how, and I've been around professional athletes.
Oh, by the way, I can do a push-up now.
Yeah, she can. I told Darwin that too. He's proud of you. The the difference. Like some people are athletes, some people aren't.
Yeah.
And so Darwin just couldn't compete with it. Rachel couldn't do one push-up at the time.
Yeah.
And that's a great story. He defeated Aaron Herrera by second round knockout over the weekend. And Aaron Herrera, I was really interested in this fight because Aaron Herrera had been in the ring with some really good, notable fighters. And this was kind of a measuring stick for where Darwin Price was in his career. Knocking him out in the second round. Tremendous performance. He looked really great. Another thing that struck me just in seeing him train, he had a media day here maybe a week or two ago. I went over there to write about it for thesweetscience.com. And I was struck by how good he looked in the ring. And because I had seen him before. And it's just like that kind of progress that Darwin has made is like something that maybe you don't see day to day. This is an important concept. This is something I'm learning in my own life. Like you don't see it every day, but because I had been around that gym a lot and seen a lot of Darwin, and then in my personal life I had not been in boxing for a while, came back, see Darwin again, and I could just see like he looks like a completely different person. And that is a testament to his hard work and dedication every single day. Finding where he needs to be to do what's best for him to follow his dream, and I just admire that. His nickname is Pay the Price, right? Darwin, pay the price, I guess. I don't know. But in his message is all about paying the price. Like nothing is free in life, really.
Yeah, everything has a cost, and especially anything that is good. Yeah. Anything that is good and efficacious for you is going to have a cost. There's always a sacrifice. Yeah. And sometimes you don't make like put in the work and in 3 months like it all comes. Like sometimes it's a small incremental changes that lead to like big things.
Good
and
things
so we went from seeing Darwin come down, from St. Louis, however he got here, found his way to Plex, and I think was living maybe at an apartment down the road from Plex, and then now he was on TV the other night.
Yeah, now he's obviously doing well. He was on TV, so he's making money now. He's got people, he's got a little crew of people, he's got people videoing him. He's got different trainers. He's doing all this stuff on social media. That stuff costs money. He pulled up in that Jeep. I forget what it's called, but it was pretty nice. It was like a music video. So Darwin went from not being in a music video to being in a music video, basically. He drove up, and it was like slow motion. He got out of the car. And just what a great story. One little story in boxing that's super great and super awesome. I'm really grateful I got to see it. I just happened to be here to see it or whatever, in that I'm so excited to see him continue in his career. That win against Aaron Herrera is a big deal. He looked really great. He stopped him in 2 rounds. His stablemate, Regis Prograis, who is one of the better fighters in boxing, also fought the same guy a couple years ago, stopped him in 1 round. But other than that, this guy goes rounds with people. And Regis Prograis is elite, Darwin is starting to look elite, and that's great. I'm so happy and grateful to just see it and just tell you guys about it, because it's an awesome story. If you don't know about Darwin Price, go check him out.
Go check him out. And I think it's a great for me to seeing somebody else, because sometimes I get kind of bogged down in daily life and, putting one foot in front of the other, and I feel like things aren't changing. I feel stuck often. But to be able to look outside of myself and see somebody who also seems to me has made small, good, incremental changes, and to see the change in their life. And so that maybe I can remember, instead of getting bogged down and I do I'll get to a point where I'm just well, forget it. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of I don't know what the word is, but to stick with that, that is a trait to be admired.
Yeah. Well, you know what else is a trait to be admired?
When people comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
That is small incremental changes for Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel.
They've been pretty small and incremental as of late.
So, if you're watching, we would really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel. Our goal is to hit 1,000, and I think we're at 768.
Yeah.
I think 768.
We're almost 800, but we've been almost 800 for a while now. So I'd like to get over that 800 mark so we can start pushing to 900.